Hey guys, today we have another jacket battle showdown on our hands, this time between the North Face Summit L3 Ventrix versus the Arcteryx Atom LT. That's next. Welcome to Backcountry Renegade. I'm Jeff. Today we are looking at two additional jackets for active layers that are very breathable. The first being the Arcteryx Atom LT, the second being the North Face Summit L3 Ventrix. Both these jackets are highly breathable. They're great for activities and that are high output in cold conditions. Now, they're both breathable for their own unique ways. The Arcteryx Atom LT actually has breathable side panels, where the Ventrix features a new technology that has holes inside the layers, but when you are not active, they're closed, and when you are active, they expand, releasing heat. So pretty cool thing. So today we're going to compare and contrast these two jackets and see what might be the better jacket for you. Let's go. The North Face Ventrix Summit L3 2.0 is a pretty awesome jacket. The Ventrix Summit features the Ventrix technology, which is one of the latest technologies from the North Face. It is touted as being the perfect solution for mountain environments. It acts as a breathable insulation jacket that can release body heat when you are on the move, but when you're not, it can also retain the warmth. It is also super comfortable, stretchy, and stylish. It can be used as a standalone jacket in cool conditions, but also a mid-layer in cold conditions. It has been around for about 5 years now and has gone through a few revisions. It comes in multiple colors and sizes. It sells new for $280. This one here is a 2017 Collector's Antarctica edition, as you can tell by the patch here. It has a limited number that were actually made. And this one here is in a size medium. Now, I typically wear a size small, but this is a jacket I've owned for a few years and I've lost quite a bit of weight since then, so I'm back into a small. But I am testing this out nonetheless in a medium. The Atom LT has been a staple of Arcteryx for a long time as well. It is a lightweight insulated jacket. It retails for $259 and you can often find it on sale. It also comes in multiple sizes and colors. You can also get it in a hoodless version. It has gone through a few revisions over the years, but this is the latest 2020 version. It can be used as a mid-layer or also a standalone jacket for alpine activities and is considered an all-round type jacket. It's able to retain warmth, but also having great breathability due to the side fleece panels. This jacket is good for a wide range of activities and is very versatile. This one here is in the size small. Looking at these two jackets, there are a lot of similarities. Both these jackets are made to be a standalone jacket in cool weather or can be used as an active layer in cold conditions underneath the shell. Both these jackets are lightweight. They're made of synthetic, breathable insulation. Both these jackets can let out hot air and they can both do that in their own unique way. They both have elastic cuffs, two front pockets, and a hood, and both have water repellent technologies to help keep you warm even when wet. Now let's talk a little bit about the differences. First, the shell fabric. Looking at the Ventrix, it's 20 denier by 30 denier, and it's 92% ripstop nylon with also 8% elastane. This shell has a really nice stretch to it, especially when you wear it, you can really feel it. It's also coated with a DWR finish, has good durability against abrasion as well. The Atom LT outer fabric is an Arcteryx specialized fabric called Toino 20 denier. This does a good job of blocking some of the wind while also being breathable, and it's also soft. It's not as stretchy as, let's say, the Ventrix here. The fabric is also coated with a DWR finish and is super light and can repel water to an extent. Let's talk about the insulation. The Ventrix here uses 60 grams Ventrix. Now, the Ventrix is 100% polyester stretch synthetic insulation. This is a really awesome technology insulated layer. There are perforations inside the insulation, and when you're not moving, the perforations remain closed, so it doesn't let out as much warm air, so it keeps you nice and warm. But when you are moving and you're stretching, those perforations expand and release warm body heat, and this promotes really good airflow for the jacket, so it's highly breathable while you're on the move. Now the Atom LT also uses 60 grams of insulation. Now their insulation is an Arcteryx Core compact, so it's a lot more compact and thinner than it has been in the past, yet it still retains the same amount of warmth in previous version jackets. This insulated layer covers the front, the back, the arms, and the hood. And the insulation is really good and sufficient. Now, on the sides, you have fleece side panels. Now, the fleece side panels really aren't as much for insulation. They do promote really good airflow. So this allows it to work as a really good mid layer. Now, let's talk about the liner inside the jacket. Now, looking at the Ventrix over here, the liner is a 20 denier nylon, also with a mix of elastane, and it does promote a pretty good stretch while you're wearing it. It's really soft against the skin and comfortable, and it doesn't create that clampy or slippery feel when you have when you're warm and sweaty like you can have in other jackets that just kind of feel like they're plastic. So very comfortable to wear. Let's talk about the Atom LT. The interior liner fabric is made of a dope Premier. This is a very comfortable liner as well and soft to the skin. It's air permeable liner. In conjunction with the insulation, it regulates a nice comfortable microclimate inside the jacket. It keeps you from overheating, but it also keeps you nice and comfortable. The liner inside here is a Dope Deer 20 denier liner, which is more environmentally friendly. It doesn't use as much water or chemicals in the dyeing process. Let's consider the weight. The Ventrix here is 430 grams or 15.16 ounces. The Atom, on the other hand, is 375 grams or 13.2 ounces. So the Ventrix is on the heavier side of the jackets here. Now let's talk about the breathability. Now, the cool thing is they're both highly breathable, but they're both do it in their own unique ways. The Ventrix here uses the Ventrix insulation, which actually has holes that are cut into the insulation. They open to allow hot air to escape, but they, while you are stretching and while you're in movement, but they stay closed, trapping warm air when you're not in movement. So it creates an ideal jacket for alpine environments. So the holes open and close based on your movement. They can either trap or release air depending on the amount of stretch and movement you are doing. So the more movement, the more breathable. Now the Atom LT, on the other hand, is also breathable, but it's mainly through these fleece side panels. Not so much through the front and back. Now it is still somewhat breathable through those, but it's mainly breathable through the fleece side panels. This is a design that they have gone with for years, and it has worked pretty good. Now, it's not my favorite design. I do prefer the Proton when comparing these two jackets, but it does work nonetheless. It is breathable through the side panels. Now, these side panels are under the arms and can circulate much more air and keep you less sweaty while you're physically active. Now, these are updated side panels from previous versions that have a little bit more elastane stretch in it, so it's a lot more comfortable. Out of the two here, the Ventrix, though, is going to be the more breathable, especially while you're on the move. Let's talk about the warmth. Now, even though they have the same amount of insulation, the Ventrix, though, is going to keep you a bit warmer when you are standing still. And the reason is because that's when those holes of the Ventrix insulation close while you're not moving, so they keep you nice and warm inside. The Atom, on the other hand, it does keep you warm from the front and the back, but if you get a cold gust of wind, that's going to go right through the fleece side panel. So that's my one dig against the Atom, is when you are in cold, windy conditions, it just goes right through the jacket. Now for the Atom LT, if you're using this as a standalone jacket, the slide fleece panels can become a disadvantage, especially in windy and cold conditions, as the wind and cold air can just go right through. So while it is highly breathable, it doesn't do the greatest job of keeping the cold air out, especially through the side panels. Now, it does do a good job on the front and the back and where you don't have the fleece, but that's just something to keep in mind with the fleece. Out of the two jackets, the warmer jacket will be the Ventrix while you are standing still. Let's talk about the zipper. The zipper here for the Ventrix uses the typical zipper where if you pull it, it kind of stays there and you have to move it down as well. There's no speed bumps in the middle of the zipper or anything like that. So just a traditional zipper here. It's not free-flowing like you have with the Arcteryx, as we'll see. You do have this vision line sensor here to really help you grab onto it and see it, and it does do a good job. You also have this little material on the back, this little panel here, to block out any wind from going through the zipper. So that is pretty nice. Now the Atom, on the other hand, the main zipper is free flowing, and that means if you just open it a little bit, it just goes down by itself. Now the reason for that is, let's say you're wearing a harness and you experience some tension or something right away, this will slip rather than the zipper busting. Now for this one, the zipper could possibly bust if you get a lot of tension going from the sides through a harness or something. So, but it also on the top has these little speed bumps, as you can see. And this is by design. This is called no slip zip, which prevents the zipper from self-opening. As you can see, there's little bumps here. So it prevents it from self-opening, but once it gets below the sternum here, it's just free flowing. So something to keep in mind, you have these little speed bumps. That's not a defect in the jacket. It's made like that for design, and it's for the advantage of maintaining the jacket, especially if you're going to use this for climbing. So pretty cool thing. You also have a wind flap behind this zipper as well to keep out some of the wind as well. Now let's talk about pockets. Both have pockets on the sides of the jacket, as you can see. Now the cool thing about the Atom's pocket is they're a little bit higher than you can see on the Ventrix. Now this is because if you're wearing a harness, they want you to not have your pockets blocked off by some of the harness. They're fully accessible while you're in a harness climbing. Now for the Ventrix here, it's possible that the bottom part where your harness would be could get cut off. Also with when you're wearing a backpack and you're using a hip belt, it is possible that you might be a little bit hindered because of that. Another thing about the pockets is they are fleece lined inside the Atom. And that's a really cool thing, just gives you an extra touch to keep your hands warm. Where the inside of the pockets, they just have the normal liner for the Ventrix. Let's talk about chest pockets. The Ventrix here actually has two chest pockets, and these are the Napoleon type of chest pockets. These are really neat. I do like the chest pockets being on the outside here, especially if you're climbing and you don't have to open your jacket just to get something where there's a pocket on the inside. Now the Atom LT, that's going to have the pocket on the inside here. It's a zippered pocket where you can store some things. Like I said, I do prefer the outer pocket, and it's cool that the Ventrix actually has two of them. So if you want to put a map, a compass, a watch, cell phone, keys, anything like that, it does a good job for that. Let's talk about the cuffs. The cuffs here on the jackets are both have some elastic in them, and you can see the Atom here has a nice stretch to it, as does the Ventrix here. Now the thing about the Ventrix here is it's not as tight against the wrist compared to the Atom, and I would prefer the cuffs of the Atom because of that, because it does a better job of keeping out the cold air. So let's talk about the hoods. Both these hoods are helmet compatible. Both the hoods have insulation. They both have a cinch cord on the back so you can tighten them down if you choose to. They both have this elastic in the front to make it go around your face nice and around your helmet, and it makes it nice and easy to take off. Now the Atom actually has a little bit reinforced brim here, and so this is pretty neat. Just gives you a little bit of structure where you do not have that here on the Ventrix. Let's talk about the fit. The fit for the Ventrix is good, loose, and relaxed. It's not too bulky, it's not too trim, it's kind of like a just right here. Now it does look a little big on me here because it is a medium where I'm typically a small, but overall it is a good jacket. Now I do prefer my jackets a bit more trim, and so looking at the Atom has an excellent trim fit. It's much more slimmer, it's not as bulky than the previous versions of the Atom. And the reason is because they did go to that Core compact, so it does reduce the size there a bit. And so it's no surprise with Arcteryx that you're going to have a good fit, especially if you're athletic. And so this is the fit that I prefer. There's no constricting areas in this jacket, and in my opinion, the Atom is the better fit. Let's talk about compression. Now, both these jackets are somewhat compressible. You're not going to stuff them in their own pocket. They can compress a bit, but they're not the most compressible jackets out there. So if you're looking for a jacket that you can store very easily, these probably aren't it. They can compress, they can be folded into a backpack, but compressibility is not their strength at all. Normally it's not for the synthetic jackets, and that is true especially with these here. Let's talk about the comfort. Overall, for the comfort, the Ventrix is one of the most comfortable jackets out there. There's extra stretch, it makes you unhindered movement, and it's a very nice feel. inside the jacket as well. This is excellent for climbing, especially because of that extra stretch that you do have there. The Atom, on the other hand, is very comfortable as well, but it's not as stretchy as the Ventrix. Therefore, I do have to say, out of the two, the Ventrix is going to be the more comfortable of the jackets. Also, you do have some cinch cords on the inner side of the jacket. Now, the Atom has two here, where the Ventrix only has one. So they both can cinch down the bottom, so it prevents no cold air from getting in. Now, also some additional features, some nice touches is with the Atom, you do have the logo that's stitched and embroidered in there. It really creates a nice high quality feel, where the Ventrix does not have that. It's kind of like stamped on there with like some plastic lettering and stuff in there. It feels like that could easily peel off. Hopefully it doesn't, but it would have been nice if that was actually embroidered. I mean, they do embroider and sew on a patch here, so why couldn't they do something like that here? One of my little digs there. Also, one thing to notice too about this that makes the Ventrix a little bit unique is there's no seams on the shoulders. There's no seams on the shoulders, and this is by design, where you do have some seams here on the shoulders, and this is for the purpose if you're wearing a backpack, you just have a little bit extra comfort where you don't have seams in the shoulders. So concluding thoughts, who won the jacket battle for me? Was it the North Face Summit L3 Ventrix, or was it the Arcteryx Atom LT? For me, if I had to choose between these two, I would choose the North Face Summit L3 Ventrix. And because the pros outweigh the cons when you consider these two jackets. Now, the first pro about the Ventrix is actually that it feels more wind resistant than the Atom LT. Now, one thing that I do not like about the Atom LT really is the fleece side panels. I've been on top of too many mountains climbing, and I have just been blasted by cold air through the sides, and it just goes right through that fleece. Now, granted, I could wear a shell to cover that, but if I'm doing high output activities, I want a jacket that can release heat, but also shield me a bit more from cold winds. And the Atom LT is just a little bit more prone to that because of the fleece side panels. Where there's no fleece side panels on this one, so it makes me like it a whole lot more. Another pro about the Ventrix jacket is that it seems to be able to release heat and hold warm air much more efficiently. So because of these holes inside the inner layer of this jacket, when you're moving, when you're exerting high output, it's going to expand those holes and release the heat. So really cool technology. But if you're just standing still, well, those holes are not expanded, so it keeps in the warmth. So you get the best of both worlds there with the Ventrix, so pretty cool feature with that. Another thing about the Ventrix is it's a little bit more weather resistant. Coming and getting maybe a brief rain shower or having some snow on it, it seems to repel it a whole lot better than it did the Atom LT in my experience. And like I said, it does do a better job blocking the wind. Another pro about the Ventrix is you actually have two Napoleon pockets in the chest. So that is a really cool feature if you want to store maybe some maps, a compass, some keys or something like that in the jacket. You actually have a bit more storage options with the Ventrix. Another pro about the Ventrix is it actually uses a bit more elastic inside the material, so it's a lot more stretchy than the Atom LT. So if you're reaching for a hold and you're climbing, this isn't going to hinder you in any way. Another pro is about the liner inside. It's very soft to the skin, so it's a great jacket. You're not going to feel like if you get real sweaty or anything that it's going to clamp up to your skin like some other cheaper jackets may feel. So it feels nice and premium. Now let's consider the cons. The first con about the Ventrix is it's going to be pricier than the Atom LT. So something to consider, it does cost a bit more. Another con about the Ventrix is it might be a little bit harder to find. This is the 2017 edition, which they have discontinued. They do have newer editions in different colors. This one has kind of the retro 90s North Face look with the two-tone color here, so I really like that. But it might be a little harder to find as you get newer jackets because they're constantly changing the colors. Another con about the Ventrix is because it uses a little bit more elastic, it is going to be weightier of the two jackets. Plus you have these patches in here, which, you know, if you were looking for something lightweight, you wouldn't get something like this, but it is going to weigh more than the Atom LT. Another con about the Ventrix, now granted, I did get a size medium in this one and I probably should have got a small. It is a little bit more of a bulky, but the Arcteryx fit is just so good. And so that is one of the cons about the North Face, is it doesn't fit as trim as the Atom LT. So who won the jacket battle for you? Was it the Arcteryx Atom LT or was it the North Face Summit L3 Ventrix? Leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts and which one would you go with and why. Also, if you like this video and you found it helpful, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Also, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you can get more jacket battle content like this. And as always, thanks for watching.